Header. Game 2 will start 30 minutes after the conclusion of this one, and that game will be over Comcast Sportsnet Plus as Suzuki Ichiro takes first pitch down low from the 35-year-old right-hander. 39 degrees at game time, and it feels even colder than that. So that is a 2-0 count. Ichiro comes in on a 5-game hitting streak. He's batting .333 on the season, a couple of homers, 6 RBIs. And the count 3-0.
This would be one of the last guys you'd want to walk because he's the key to their running game.
There's the strike, says Mark Carlson. Ichiro 21 for 67 lifetime against Cologne with 3 homers and 8 RBIs.
That's a lot of times to face somebody. 67 at bats.
Softly hit. Lillibridge has got him, 1 out.
That's a nice comeback in that one. Fell behind 3-0. The last thing you want to do is to walk the leadoff hitter, but especially Ichiro because it keys a whole lot of this offense, especially with Endy Chavez at second because he's another left-handed speed burner.
Chavez hitting at .329 on the young season. A homer. He's driven in 7 last year. Chavez with the Mets at .267. First pitch strike to the 31-year-old outfielder.
It's unusual to see a corner outfielder. Normally Chavez is a center fielder, but that's not what he's asked to do in Seattle. He's asked to play left. You don't see many corner outfielders with a lack of power like Chavez, but this team is built on pitching.
And the count 0-2. Well, they have a new GM. They have a new skipper, Don Wakamatsu. I was in our organization for a while, and that ball is in the left field. That's a can of corn for Jerry Owens, and out number 2. Don is just a super nice person and a good baseball man.
He's been around a long time, Hawk. What I like about Wakamatsu is the fact that he's done just about everything, and one of his selling points to Jack Zurinsik, who is a new general manager, was that he knew the West up and down because he had worked with Mike Scioscia and the Angels. He had worked with Texas, and he knew them, and he was the bench coach for Buck Showalter, so he was very familiar with the West.
That'll bring up the 39-year-old veteran, Ken Griffey Jr. Jr. hitting at .192, a couple of homers, 3 RBIs. And in his career, 613 home runs. What a player. What a player. What a player.
He's been about as good as it gets for a long time.
It's just a dadgum shame that when he was with Cincinnati, had all those, big-time injuries, leg injuries.
Well, he shredded his hamstring, and there's still a couple of screws in there holding it together.
And his foul back. Yeah, it almost was surreal there for a couple of years. He had an injury, rehab, come back. All of a sudden, a couple of weeks later, he's back playing again, and poof, here it comes once more. He's 6 for 21 lifetime off Bartolo. Bartolo just reaches back on that one.
Griffey's a low fastball hitter. If you get it low and out over the plate, he'll hit it hard. Bartolo's trying to keep the ball up. It really doesn't matter if you go in or out. Preferably you can stay up and in, but he's going away here. And when Ozzie saw him yesterday, he wasn't in the starting lineup because Danks was going to go, and he said, they're platooning you over there. And he said to Ozzie, you didn't play me against left-handers either.
That's inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And here at beautiful U.S. Cellular Field, 330 down the left field line, 335 down the right field line, 375 in the gap, send 400 straightaway center. Only time Seattle will be here this season. He gone. 1-2-3 inning for Bartolo after a half inning of play. It's the Mariners nothing and the good guys coming to bat.
Fields playing third, hitting second, then Quentin DiConerco. Anderson in center field, he's been red hot. Ramirez at shortstop. Corky getting the nod behind the plate in the first game, and Lillibridge at second. There's a defense and how they'll line up behind Jacobakis. It's Chavez, Gutierrez, and Suzuki. Infield, Beltre, Betancourt, Lopez, and Branyan. Johnson behind the plate, and Chris Jacobakis on the hill. 1 and 2, opponents hitting .340. He comes straight over the top, and he's not overpowering.
And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours as Jerry Owens stands in. Jerry 1 for 8 on the season. Takes that pitch downstairs. Sox come in at 9 and 9, hitting at .267 as a club with a 4.61 ERA. Corners in close. Takes the bunt, takes the strike.
Beltre was in about as far as you want to be in at third base. He's on the grass. He's starting on the grass and then coming in with the pitch. And he's normally a terrific third baseman.
That's foul back. He is a fun player to watch. Beltre, I didn't know much about him. You know, he was in the National League. Of course, he had that huge final season with the Dodgers. And I saw Robin Ventura and asked him about Beltre. He said, he's the real deal, Hawk. He said he can play.
He's a tremendous defensive player. And he had really big power at times. Had some stomach problems and was sick enough where they didn't know if he was going to be able to make it. He did come back and then had a gigantic season with the Dodgers. That was his free agent year.
That's chop foul. Yeah, when Robin Ventura says he's about as good as it gets at third base, that's good enough for me. But he's fun to watch there. He's fun to watch at the plate, especially on a check swing. The 1-2. As he strikes out Owens, so 1 down. And with 1 out, let's check out our picks to click. Jim Angio, our director and crew. LA went with Corky Miller. Lisa, Tex, and Steve are going to go with Carlos Quentin. And Jim and Canatero and I, we're going to go with Jermaine Dye.
Well, the crew seems to be dominating you and I to this point. We got to heat it up.
Patience.
Patience. It's a long year. You don't want to peak too early.
I don't know how many years it's been now, but they've been short every year. Here's Josh. Well, they got the Mayor Mean Joe group picking for him today, so we'll see. That's upstairs.
Jacobakis was an infielder and then decided that perhaps hitting a curveball was too tough, so they moved him to the mound.
The ball hit high and deep into right field, but Ichiro is there. 2 down. And, of course, those picks to click that we just gave you brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Visit southwest.com today. Carlos Quentin. There are the numbers on Carlos. 246, 7, and 14. To Hopper. Beltre. That didn't take long. 1, 2, 3, and after 1, no score. Adrian Beltre with an 0-1 count at the plate. Beltre hitting at 176, no homers. He's driven in 9. As that pitch a little low, and the count evens at 1. Beltre 16 for 45 lifetime against Bartolo, with 4 homers and 13 RBIs, so he has hurt him.
He's off to a slow start in the power department. Normally, he's a fairly dependable run producer.
That ball hit hard. And Jerry got a good jump, gets back there quickly, makes a catch on the line shot off the bat of Beltre.
Unfortunately,
last year, 25 homers.
Fortunately, that was a sinking line drive. It doesn't appear, at least to this point, that the ball is carrying all that well. We'll take another look at it. And Owens does get a really good jump on it and then makes it look easy, hauls it in.
The ball was hit. I didn't think he could get there. I thought it was going to be off the wall at least. So here's Russell Branyan out of Warner, Robbins, Georgia. Russell hitting at 311, 4 homers, dead low ball hitter.
When you talk about power, he's got as much of it as anybody around. And what's been frightening this year is that he's hitting the ball to left center field as well as right center.
When he first couple of years first came into this league, anything from middle of thigh up, he had no chance. No chance. Pretty good pitch right there. Didn't get it.
When you consider how many hitters the Cleveland Indians brought to the major leagues out of their organization, you could go on for a while with real powerful guys that have since moved elsewhere.
Threw that one by him to even the count at 2. Yeah, they traded away a lot of good young hitters.
They had to. I mean, they had a log jam. A lot of first basemen, a lot of corner outfielders. And Branyan on a high fastball will consistently swing through it.
Just got a piece of that one. Outfield about equidistant, slightly to the left. They're spread out.
Jose Lopez in the on-deck circle waiting for his opportunity. And it'll be with 2 outs with another high fastball.
He gone. Yeah, Russell cannot lay off of it. And that's not unusual. That's not an unusual thing. You get a lot of guys that come into the big leagues and play in the big leagues for a long time that just cannot lay off that high fastball, and yet they can't hit.
One guy that made a big change in that, you remember Cecil Cooper when he came up with Boston, couldn't hit a high fastball and then went and hit out of a low crouch.
There was another guy, the shortstop at Boston, who played his whole career, couldn't hit a high fastball, Rick Burleson. But he played a long time. It used to amaze me as there's a strike to Lopez, count 1-1. It used to amaze me. You'd see guys get out there and get him 2 strikes and throw him a low fastball and he'd hit a bullet someplace. You sit there and, don't they have an advanced scout?
Well, yeah, there's the rule of thumb is keep the ball down on everybody, but there's some guys that if you keep the ball down, they're going to knock your head off.
Well, they're going to be really dangerous vis-a-vis Russell Branyan. And that old saying, that's a good point you just bring up because it bears the question of, do you ever go against your power to go to another guy's weakness?
That's one of the things I always tell young pitchers is see if your strength is best. I would go to my strength first until the hitter proved to me that he was just better than I was on my strength, and then I would go to his weakness because his weakness might be the same as I had. You don't want to go there to start with because it's your weakness. So a lot of young pitchers don't understand that.
2 out in the 2-2 pitch. He gone. 3 strikeouts now for Bartolo. 6 up, 6 down, still scoreless.
something better. Who'll win the American League West this season? A, Los Angeles, B, Oakland, C, Seattle, D, Texas. Just text A, B, C, or D to 97999 and watch for results later in the game.
First pitch strike to Jermaine Dye, hitting at .313, 5 homers. He's driven in 12. Count evens at 1, and boy, we've got a nice present to give away tomorrow. One lucky fan in attendance at tomorrow's game. That ball into left field, and that is run down by Indy Chavez. 1 out. But one lucky fan in attendance at tomorrow's game against the Mariners will win a bat signed by both Paul Konerko and Jermaine Dye, commemorating their recent milestone home runs. The fans that don't already have tickets can save up to $10 on tickets to tomorrow's game by entering $300 in the promotions and special offers box. To buy tickets now, visit whitesox.com or call 866-SOX-GAME. And that is a piece of baseball history right there. Paulie hitting at .328, 3 homers. He's driven in 15. This guy reminds me a little bit of a right-handed Jared Washburn. Not overpowering, but loves his fastball.
And he throws it
right at you.
He throws it up in the zone. And this is a guy that played 5 years in independent baseball. He was converted to a pitcher with Florence in the Frontier League. So he's a study in persistence, a guy that probably shouldn't make the major leagues, but he's a 29-year-old rookie, and here he is.
Good for him. Those are good stories. Off the end of the bat, Unieski Betancourt throws him out.
White Sox group and party area outings. It's priority seating for your group of 20 or more fans. You can save $1 to half off each ticket, depending on the size of your group, in the party areas like the fan deck, the warning track, or an individual game diamond suite. Call 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com for more details.
Brian Anderson will be the hitter. Brian at .349, no homers. He's driven in 4.
Good thing for Brian to do, although he is swinging the bat well. Let's take a look at Beltre. He's 2 steps in back of the bag at third base, pretty much inviting a bunt.
At Souvenir right side, at this particular point in time, everybody in the ballpark's got a good shot at getting a Souvenir.
Or you could go up and greet them individually. But it's a late arriving crowd.
Well, it's an unscheduled game. So I actually, a few more people here than I thought would be here for a 4 o'clock start that's not on the schedule. Especially on a cold day. 39 degrees at game time.
Is that your company? Guy wearing a Hawk shirt?
No.
No. Should get residuals. Actually, that's Hawk Enterprises, so no, that wouldn't be it.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Right at him, upstairs. That's 6 up, 6 down for both guys. 26-year-old catcher Rob Johnson will start things off here in the top of the third for the Mariners. Johnson hitting at .278. No homers. He's driven in 7. Takes the strike and the count 1-2.
Kenji Jojima is their #1 starter, and he's hurt right now on the disabled list. They expect to get him back. Rob Johnson's a great catch it, call it, and throw it guy, but he's been offensively challenged.
2-2 the count. Now field about equidistant, spread out slightly to the left. Josh back and off the line at third. And that's out number 1.
For each double play the White Sox turn this season, Dominics will make a donation to Chicago White Sox charities.
And checking out the coaches at first base, Lee Tinsley, and at third base, Bruce Hines. Other coaches on the Mariner staff, John Wetland, the bullpen coach, former closer. Rick Adair is the pitching coach. Ty Van Berkeley is the bench coach, and the hitting coach is Alan Cockrell. Franklin Gutierrez takes strike 1.
Jack Zarincic, the general manager, did something that you hardly ever hear of a general manager doing with a new manager. He allowed Don Wakamatsu, his entire coaching staff, to pick anyone he wanted, which is something that a lot of veteran managers get the right to do, but very few rookie managers.
Well, very few managers, period, have that right, because the organization wants at least one spot on that coaching staff for somebody in the organization who has been there for a long time.
As a reward, kind of thing?
Yeah. Boy, you just don't, you're right. You just don't hear of that. The new manager is. Gutierrez cannot get it, and the count evens at 2. But it looks like that Seattle, it's early yet, there's no question about that, but it looks like Seattle has a little different kind of attitude than they had last year.
Well, they've got some real good young players, and they have to pretty much erase the past. Last year was a disaster, and they just moved on. They have a brand new administration.
Full count.
Unieski Betancourt in the on-deck circle.
I love that name, too. There's a shot. So the first base runner of the game coming with 1 out here in the top of the third.
Mariners got Gutierrez from the Cleveland Indians, and they love his center field play. So he takes that fastball right back up the middle. That ends a streak of 7 in a row retired by Bartolo.
So here's Betancourt hitting at .266. 27-year-old shortstop is 11 for 27 lifetime off Cologne.
Gutierrez 0 for 2 this year in stolen bases.
Outfield around to the right, gap out there in left center. Well, I've seen Bartolo Colon pitch a lot of games. I've seen him pitch some games in weather that was just absolutely horrendous. Cold, drizzly. I have never seen him with a long sleeve sweatshirt on.
Some pitchers just feel better in short sleeves.
There's a line shot right to Josh. The return throw not in time. But 2 down. Well, I know in my career, I can't remember 5 times that I ever wore a long sleeve sweatshirt. Just hated those things on my arms.
I pitched in short sleeves and felt pretty good about it, but I had what we used to call, what they called capsulin at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Which was, boy, that'll get you up at night.
Sandy Koufax and Sam McDowell used to use a couple of tubes of that before every start.
That was about the hottest type of analgesic that I think I ever experienced.
I tried it.
Once.
Right.
And you never wanted to cover that up with a shirt because it was like a forest fire if you did.
Yeah, I would watch. After I tried it, I'd watch Sam before a game. He'd be getting that rubbing that capsule in on his left arm. And he put it on his ribs underneath his arm. I'm telling you, that just made me. Another little chopper by Ichiro. Second time that Lillibridge has got him, and that'll retire the side. We'll go to the bottom of the third. Goose egg. To Lopez. One pitch, one out.
You've got to make Jakubowskis get the ball down. If he has his own way, he's going to throw letter-high fastballs and try to live up there. He also has an overhand curveball, but he doesn't have overwhelming stuff. And he came in and he had been hit pretty well. 12 2/3 innings of work, 18 hits and 10 earned runs.
Here's Corky Miller. Well, you show me a guy that throws 91 and he's trying to throw high fastballs. I'll show you a guy who's got a lot of courage.
If you throw it when you're behind, you're probably going to get hurt. If you can keep it up a little bit out of the zone when you're ahead, that's a pretty good out pitch.
Well, it's a great out pitch for a guy like yourself who knew as that ball is hit, who had 3 different speeds on his curveball.
Yeah.
And it's a great out pitch for a guy like Scott McGregor, who very seldom hit 80. After he showed you that big slow curveball and that change up, all of a sudden you come with that 2-strike 79-mile-an-hour fastball. You couldn't get there.
But
Scott McGregor, of course, was with Baltimore.
Yeah. Also the difference of going up by design as opposed to your catcher wants it down and now you're throwing it up in the zone and then you get hurt.
It's that old saying, show me a guy that knows how to pitch up and I'll show you a winner.
Yeah.
But the key is knows how to pitch up. High pop up right side.
2009 individual game tickets are on sale now. Don't miss your chance to get the best seats available for the matchups against the Seattle Mariners. And that would be either tonight's game or tomorrow afternoon. To purchase your 2009 individual game tickets, call 866-SOX-GAME or visit whitesox.com.
Here's Brent Lillibridge. Outfield spread out as he goes through that one. bit of a gap out there in left center. You've got Beltre way off the line, and even with the bag at third, and you got Russell Branyan way off the line at first.
I know Greg Walker wants Lillibridge to shorten his swing, try to take advantage of his speed. They don't want to see him hitting too many fly balls. They'd like to see him keep the ball on the ground, chop it in the infield. He has just about as good a speed as anybody from the right side. There's a look at walk.
Well, there are some guys that can shorten their swings, and there are some guys that cannot. It's amazing.
What would you do to have a guy shorten his swing?
There's only two ways you can shorten. Talking about a physical thing, is the left forearm. If you're a right-handed hitter, the left forearm has got to get outside the elbow. The longer that forearm goes forward towards the pitcher, the bigger the swing as he strikes him out. So that is 9 up, 9 down for Jacobowskis. There's one out here in the top of the fourth inning. One pitch, one out. Indy Chavez tried to bunt it. Bunted it right back to Bartolo.
Well, he wants to drag this ball, and he wants to bunt it right at Lillibridge, but Bartolo, quick as a cat, threw him out at first. It's
a big cat.
A large cat.
Yeah. So here's Junior. He struck out on a good changeup from Bartolo. 2-0 the count to Griffey. Outfield around to the right. That ball hit deep. Ryan Anderson back. It's off the base of the fence. He'll get it back in.
Well, normally that's going to leave the ballpark, but we told you today it wasn't all that lively. And Griffey got a low fastball. We talked extensively the first time up. You keep the ball up, you're going to be okay. You keep the ball down, like right there, and that's in his sweet spot.
It's so much easier. And over the years, that's one thing. That's one reason I have not liked the DH. Because you have, as Beltre stands in, he ripped a line shot into left field that Jerry Owens got a good jump on and made the catch. But that's one reason. Pitchers don't have to hit. If pitchers had to hit, they might realize how much easier it is to hit a low fastball than it is a fastball up. You can sit there and talk to them till you're blue in the face. A lot of them never grasp it. The light never comes on.
Well, Hawk, you were talking about shortening your swing. You said there was two ways. The first way you talked about was the forearm, basically. And
Right.
what would the second way?
Yeah, the forearm, if you're a right-handed hitter, that left forearm has got, when you start your swing, has got to get outside your elbow. If it stays inside your elbow and that arm keeps going, then the swing is going to be big and loopy and slow. The second way, which I think is the best way, is to get closer to the plate, and then you have to be short and quick. Your mind will make you get short and quick if you stand close to the plate. The further off the plate you are, the more tendency you have for that arm to drift on you out and have a bigger swing. Josh will suck it up and peg him out.
The fourth inning is brought to you by Taco Bell's Fourth Meal. It's a meal between dinner and breakfast, open till 1 a.m. or later. That was a good play by Josh for the reason that nobody was with Griffey to push him back at second base, so he could have gone as far as he wanted to. If he got a third of the way down, he could have taken off, but Josh held it, looked at him, watched him take a step back towards second, and then threw to first.
Here's Branyan. He struck out on a high fastball. Fouls that one down. Well, that's also a good play by Junior because he knew Junior, there's nothing gets by him on a baseball field. He knows where everybody's at. He knows what everything is going to do. He's very perceptive in that. Not unlike a Michael Jordan where he knew where everybody was on a basketball court.
Or Wayne Gretzky, who knew where everybody was on an ice rink.
That's a little too high, and the count 1-1. Yeah, you get guys like Michael Jordan and Larry Bird. They knew where everybody on that court was, especially in crunch time. And how about the Bulls? And how about the Blackhawks? Yes.
The Blackhawks go to the next round where Vancouver awaits.
A lot of great things happening in this great city we live in.
Well, there's a young fan with a Blackhawk very warm cap. And they'll move on to the second round.
Big hack, no contact, and it's great to hear. Pat and Eddie, with all that exuberance.
Got a chance to watch that game, Hawk, and very rarely will you get outshot 3-1 and come away with a win.
I tell you, your goalie's pretty good. High, towering. Pop up to right field. JD is there, and that'll retire the side. That's what you call a just missed them. And after 3.5, still nada. Well, you are going to be able to see the first pitch of an inning this half inning.
And that's pretty good.
Yeah.
They are very shallow at the corners with Beltre and Branyan.
And Jacobascus has retired everybody he has seen. Struck Jerry out leading off the bottom of the first as he takes ball 1. Outfield, they're spread out. About equidistant, slightly to the left.
Jacobascus is going to stay away from Owens. If he can just flip the ball to the left side, there's a base hit there with Beltre in.
Well, rather than that technique right there, I would love to see Jerry learn how to butcher boy. And he's got one of the best instructors that he could have sitting in his dugout wearing number 13.
Just pull it back and slap a little
That's
ground
it.
ball to shortstop.
That's it. Much better than that bunt of that nature.
We have a few guys on this team especially that drop the head of the bat, and when you do that, it pops the ball straight up. There's a look at Ozzie.
Ozzie could do that with the best of them.
And he was a real smart player. There's another guy that really nothing escaped on the baseball field.
Nothing. The breaking ball hits softly to second. And 1 out.
Join the Chicago White Sox for the Grinder road trip to Milwaukee's Miller Park Friday, June 12th through Sunday, June 14th, and Detroit's Comerica Park Friday, July 24th through Sunday, July 26th. Reserve your spot today by calling 312-674-5398 or visit the tickets link at whitesox.com. Click on Grinders Road Trips.
There are certain guys that you watch or you play with, or after your career's over, you watch the game, as you and I have been privileged to do for all these years. And you just know guys, certain guys that are going to be, if they desire to be, good managers. And Ozzie, if I said it once, I said it 100 times when he was 13 years playing for us. I said, one day this guy is going to make one hell of a manager. Because he knew by the second or third inning, he had the tempo of that game. He knew where everything was, everybody was. He knew the flow. And usually, you know, when you're sitting in, it's harder to do when you're sitting home watching rather than the ballpark itself. Every game has its own personality. Every game has its own tempo. And as a rule, most of the time, as there's our first base runner. So Josh down at first, and that'll bring up Carlos Quentin. But usually by the second or third inning, you can get a pretty good idea of that particular rhythm. Now, does that mean it can't change? No, it can't. It can change from pitch to pitch sometimes. That's why it's so beautiful. But Ozzie had that. He knew the rhythm of the game. He knew what was going on. Very, very high baseball acumen. Carlos grounded out to third. Well, I told you that story about Dick Williams when we traded for him in '84. I called Dick up, who was managing the Padres. I said, what are we getting in this young kid here? He said, I'll tell you what you're getting. You're going to get a guy who's an all-star shortstop. He's going to hit better than everybody thought. And one day he's going to make a hell of a manager. There's a shot. So there goes the no-hitter. More importantly, 1 out, 2 on.
Well, first the perfect game went by the boards with the walk to Fields, and now the no-hitter is history with the base hit up the middle. So the second time through the order where you have a chance to understand what a guy's trying to do, so far has worked out pretty well for the Sox. Jermaine has a chance to improve on those 12 runs batted in.
Jermaine lined out hard to left field. Andy Chavez ran it down. And that's popped up softly right side. Ichiro coming on, taking charge. Well, what a magnificent player.
Well, there's not much that he doesn't do absolutely with perfect technique. I mean, he sets up for throws. He cuts the bases as well as anybody. Obviously, he gets down the line with the best in baseball. He's one of the great hitters, whether it's in Japan or this country, to play baseball in a long time. But you can tell he's very well schooled and has worked really hard at the technique of the game.
Here's Pauly, grounded out softly. Ball went off the end of the bat to short. Well, Ichiro has got a heck of a chance of being a Hall of Famer in 2 halls.
Could very well be if you look at the numbers he's put up. Play a few more years here, you know he's going to go in the Hall of Fame in Japan. And the numbers he's put up in his time in these major leagues have been spectacular.
But nobody's ever done it. Pauly did not particularly care for that call by Mark Carlson.
And Konerko's been the best of all the Sox at hitting with runners in scoring position. Now you can run on Chavez in left field. That ball looked high and away, and Johnson went up to get it. Usually you don't get the benefit of that call.
That's a fair ball. That's going to break this tie. Here comes Josh. Now they're going to wave Carlos around as he will score. Chavez gets it back in, and it is 2-0 Sox on the double by Konerko.
And credit Jeff Nelson, the umpire, because he went out there. That ball stopped. It didn't carry him and go to the corner. Chavez was looking for it to bounce out. It didn't. But Jeff Nelson right away gave the safe sign, meaning that the ball was in play. So another high fastball, and this time Pauly's right on it, driving in runs 16 and 17. We told you he was the best the Sox had at hitting with runners in scoring position. Now watch this one. In the estimation of Jeff Nelson, that fan didn't catch it. It got caught in the pads. That's why he gave the safe sign, and the ball remained in play.
Don't stop now. Here's Brian. He struck out his first trip. That ball hit deep into center field, but not deep enough. But as Steve just got it out of his mouth just before Konerko knocks in a pair with a double, and the Sox lead at 2-0. One out here in the top of the 5th inning as Jose Lopez hits the second pitch from Bartolo Colon.
Colon is making the ball move real well today. This is a radical departure from the last time out with Baltimore, where he was basically a one-speed pitcher. He's using the ball as well as he can use it because he doesn't throw big curveballs or hard sliders, but he's changing speeds well and locations well.
His location against the Orioles was just not there. trying to run that to the left-handed hitters, that fastball in.
Kept running back.
And kept running back over the middle of the plate. Johnson pokes that one foul down the right field line, so the count quickly 2 strikes.
I think Baltimore is slowly establishing that although their pitching staff might not be ready yet, and I don't think it is to contend, but that lineup can put a hurting on some pitchers that are not having good days. They have a pretty good offense.
They got a terrific leadoff guy. And he gone. Terrific leadoff guy in Brian Roberts, and they got one of the best young players in the game in Nick Markakis. And they got Adam Jones that's coming along. So their first 3 hitters, and Dave Tremblay has done a good job. I think where he put Adam Jones in that lineup, it just suits him and protects him to a T, being 23 years old. You got protection in front with Brian Roberts, and you certainly have protection back with Nick Markakis.
Well, then you have Aubrey Huff, who, as we saw, can do you some damage.
Well, yeah, I'm just talking about Jones being in that 2-hole.
Yeah, I think it's a perfect spot because Roberts does get on a lot. That means that when you're facing Jones, especially to lead off an inning, the pitcher's in the stretch.
Yeah, that's a good spot for a young man to be protected in. That's about as much protection as you're going to get. Oh, 0-2 the count to Gutierrez. He singled sharply back through the middle. He gone. 5 strikeouts for Bartolo. We're halfway home, leading 2-0. First pitch strike to Alexei Ramirez, leading off here in the bottom of the 5th. Alexei 0 for 1, grounded out softly to second base.
And there's a big hole up the middle. Betancourt is playing Ramirez pretty much as a pull hitter. See the defense as we swing around. You got Beltre off the line, but Betancourt playing in the hole. You got Lopez playing up the middle, so the biggest gap is right up the middle.
Count hangs at 1-2. 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors for our guys. No runs, 2 hits, no errors for their guys. High in the right field. Can of corn for Ichiro.
Hey kids, visit your friendly neighborhood Culver's restaurant and enter the Kid of the Game sweepstakes for your chance to announce play ball from the field prior to a White Sox game. Visit your local Chicagoland or Northwest Indiana Culver's restaurant for details.
Here's the Corkaroo. Corky Miller popped up to second, his only at bat, and he's going to do it again. Now Ichiro will call him off. 2 down. First of a doubleheader. Game 2 will start at the conclusion of this one, 30 minutes after the conclusion of this ball game. That'll be Johnny Danks against Felix Hernandez, and that game will be over Comcast Sportsnet Plus.
The only exception to that, Hawk, is the game can't start before 7 o'clock.
Right. And the way this thing's going,
this one's moving right along.
Yes, it is. Grant fouls that one back.
Adrian Beltre still believes that Lillibridge is going to bunt, besides all evidence to the contrary. He is in, at least a step in front of the bag at third.
1-2 the count.
Well, like most hitters, Brent cannot hit the ball up there, and you have 2 choices. You're going to miss it, or you're going to start to lay off it and make that pitcher come down to you.
He didn't like that call. Meanwhile, another 1-2-3 inning. That is 4 strikeouts for Jakubowski. Ground ball left side, 1 hopper. Josh Fields. That's off the bat of Unieski. Betancourt, and that is out number 1. Betancourt now 0 for 2. He's lined hard to Josh, and he's grounded softly.
Would it be safe to say that he would be the first Unieski in the major leagues? Or is that a common name in Cuba?
It's the only one I've ever heard. I think you're safe to say that.
It's an unusual name.
Great baseball name. First pitch strike to Ichiro, who twice has grounded out softly to Lillibridge at second. Josh in on the grass at third. As the count 0-2.
If you were going to teach a hitting style, you'd never teach the hitting style of Ichiro.
And yet, almost all Japanese players try to emulate it.
Fukudome for the Cubs has a very similar style at times.
Iwamura. Get foul at will. Akinori Iwamura down at Tampa Bay. is probably closer to Ichiro than anybody that I've seen. It's amazing. Does the same thing every time.
That time, that ball just drifted back, and that's the pitch he didn't have in Baltimore. And Ichiro gave up on it. It was thrown right at his right hip, and it drifts back over the middle of the plate. Ichiro can't believe it, but that was a strike.
So 2 down, here's Chavez. He's 0 for 2. There's strike 1. Chavez has gone out to left, and he tried to bunt back in the 4th inning and bunted it almost right back to Bartolo. Has the bunt. That could be trouble. Yep.
It's a pretty good idea with Lillibridge back. He didn't expect to pop it up, but it looked a bit like an L wedge. As he does pop it up, couldn't have thrown it out there any better. By the time Brent got to it, with the speed of Chavez, he was able to beat the play.
Yeah, if that ball hits the ground, he's safe. So here's Junior. Junior struck out, and then he ripped a double off the base of the fence in right center. Take strike 1.
There's an example of getting a strike in a situation where you miss your spot. Corky wanted it up and on the inner portion. Bartolo sunk it out away from Junior and got the call.
Of course, Junior was very key going down the stretch last season after he came over. Got some big base hits. Drove in a couple of runs his first game in Kansas City. And, of course, in that Minnesota game, made a terrific throw.
You know, Huck, the one thing I was sure of is I didn't know how much he had left, but I knew we would see whatever he had. He was going to bring that to the park every day and play as hard as he possibly could.
Little softly hit ground ball right side. And that'll retire the side. We will go to the bottom of the 6th. It is still 2-0.
Blackhawks clinch their first-round playoff series over Calgary. Even Ozzie Guillen is excited, so much so that he might want to get involved.
I'd like to coach one of those games.
Can you skate?
Well, because you know why? Because in baseball, they don't let the coach do whatever he wants to do. In hockey, they let you say, "You want to fight? Let's go fight." And you just got 2 minute penalty. In baseball, you got 10 days suspension.
Can you skip?
Top of the order here in the bottom of the sixth. Sox lead at 2-0.
Can you see Ozzie in back of the bench?
I'll tell you what, those people with those seats behind the bench would have the time of their life, as there's a little slow hit ground ball. You'd see a lot of tape recorders.
There's no doubt.
One pitch, one out here. Owen's now 0 for 3. That'll bring up Josh Fields. Josh 0 for 1. He went out to right field, then back in the fourth with one out. He walked and came around to score, as did Carlos Quentin on the 2-out double by Paul Konerko.
Somewhat surprising because this is a very good defensive outfield. In fact, one of the better outfields, and they can really go get them. But overall, they're last in the league in defense.
They've made 15 errors.
And the outfield of Chavez, Gutierrez, and Ichiro is one of the better and faster outfields in the league.
One hopper.
If you're traveling and you can't catch your White Sox on WGN, you can always catch the game on your computer with MLB.tv. It's the ultimate baseball experience featuring 100 out-of-market games per week. It's live on your computer. You can catch those you missed on demand. Visit WhiteSox.com, where baseball is always on.
Here's Carlos. Singles sharply. His last time up and scored, as I mentioned. He is 1 for 2. Outfield spread out. High pop up. Yuniesky Betancourt. And there's another quick 1-2-3 inning for Jacobaskas. Adrian Beltre hit the first pitch right here in the top of the seventh inning. A soft fly ball into center field, so one pitch, one out. Beltre now 0 for 3.
And Bartolo's gotten a lot of mileage out of that high fastball. Right now, he's at the longest outing he's had. With that in mind, the bullpen is up and going, and they're going to watch him carefully. It's just a 2-0 game, but Bartolo's been overwhelming today to this point.
He's had his good control, and he's had about 4 or 5 inches more on his fastball.
Well, I think a lot of that, Hawk, has to do with the fact that he established he'd actually throw a changeup early in the game.
He threw the one.
He threw one, but at least you serve warning to the hitters that you have it. Now, Bartolo, as long as I can remember, and probably you've seen him as long as I have when he came in the league with Cleveland, he's been a short armor. It's been a most unusual delivery for him.
Good pitch right there, didn't get it. So 2-1 to count to Branyan, who has struck out, and then he just missed one. High towering pop up into right field in the fourth inning. Yeah,
I think he wanted that one. It looked
getting
like
squeezed a little bit here.
The same pitch he threw to Ichiro. Take another look at it. That ball drifts right over the plate.
That's a strike. So it looks like that a couple of pitches in that sequence were missed by Carlson, and there's a base on balls.
On today's Toyota Moving Forward, the focus is on John Danks. Danks is off to a great start in 09, 2 wins in 3 starts, and a microscopic .95 ERA. Opposing batters are hitting .138 versus the Sox young left-hander.
Here's Lopez. A strikeout and a pop up to left field. Nice pick right there. They go to second base. And that was dropped by Lillibridge.
Ozzy's going to come out, and this is going to be an argument with Tim Sheeta because Sheeta's saying he never had control of it, and Lillibridge is saying he came out on the transfer.
To me, it looked like he never had control of it.
There's an example of trying to get 2 before you get 1. And that could turn out to be a huge play in this game, and we'll watch it again. Josh does a nice job going to his left from his knees, makes a good solid throw, and I don't think he had control of it.
He took his eye off of it. So that'll be an error on Lillibridge. Beautiful play by Josh Fields. Meanwhile, Bartolo's got to pitch his way out of it. This is a tough inning for him. Looked like Carlson missed a couple of pitches on Branyan. Then he walked. And now that force out right there, it would not have been a double play. And that's where Lillibridge really made the big mistake. Trying to turn it over when it was unturnable.
Well, also, you have to understand who's going up the line. If you got a slow running catcher, that's one thing. You have a middle infielder, and that's what Lopez is. It's another thing. So take your 1.
Yep, you just come across the bag, make the catch, and that's it. That's just a rookie mistake there. And it's going to hurt. It's going to really hurt. Now they're going to hold the runner at second. It's a 2-1 ball game. So a tough inning, a bad break right here from the home plate umpire and Lillibridge in this inning.
RBI number 8 for Johnson. Leaving runners at second and third. Bartolo gets that fastball on the outer portion of the plate. He gets it up. And Johnson, who knows that his playing time is limited, because Jojima will come back in the not too distant future, making the most of his opportunity.
Franklin Gutierrez with 1 out, ducks on the pond. That's too bad. Takes first pitch strike. Man.
Seattle's off to a great start, and you give a team more outs than they should have in an inning, and more times than not, they take advantage of it.
The 0-1 pitch. Two and a huge 1 for us, 1-4 and 0 for them. We only have 2 hits in this ball game. Fortunately, both of them coming back in the 4th inning, and that was after the 1-out walk to Josh Fields. 2 out, 2-run double by Konerko. And the count 2-1.
It's not necessarily a bad idea here. You have first base open. If you don't get Gutierrez, you have a double play set up. And I think the pitch here is to try to jam him. Maybe you'll get a pop-up or a soft ground ball to the left side, in which case it'd be tough for Lopez to score.
Well, in this case here, you got a veteran on the mound, and this is most of the time pitcher's preference. Bartolo knows he's faced Unieski Betancourt 27 times. Bartolo's got a pretty good idea of what he wants to do here.
Well, he's got to go inside again and invite Gutierrez to get himself out. Just make sure you get it in far enough.
There they go.
Well, that's a spot. If you can get it there, which is in and up and out of the zone, again, you invite Gutierrez to get himself out, or you put him at first base.
You still got to hit that spot. In this case, if you walk him, you walk him. But you cannot make a mistake. Payoff pitch. Pops him up. Got him inside. Big out. 2 down.
He threw 6 straight pitches inside. Didn't really care if he missed with it. And you see Corky wants it in. That ball drifting right inside. Gutierrez wanting to bring in his hands. It's from the Southwest RoboCam. You'll see a tremendous job of pitching by Colon. He's got 1 out to get. That was a veteran job.
Betancourt is lined hard to third, and he is grounded softly to third. That ball hit hard. Get foul. Get foul. It will. Thank you very much.
Boy, that ball stayed fair a long time before hooking in front of the pole, with Jeff Nelson right there on the call, watching it all the way. Corky wants it inside. And Betancourt opened up, got a good piece of that one, but fortunately got around just a touch too quickly. For us, that's the right side of the pole.
The 0-1. That's popped up. Canerco giving chase. Stay in here. Now he makes the call right in front of the dugout. Makes the catch, and Bartolo pitches out of what could have been a very, very disastrous inning for himself.
You can see all the action at night. and a 1-run lead to this point. So Jakubowskis has thrown real well.
There's a breaking ball, one of the few he's thrown. He's had an interesting. In the 6 innings that he has worked, he has retired the side in order 5 of those 6.
Well, now he's staring down the barrel of the best hitter's pitch that Jermaine is probably going to see this game.
Here's the 2-0. Boy, he made a nice pitch on him outside corner. That's where you just, as a hitter, you just take it, tip your cap.
Don't get yourself out on a pitcher's pitch when you're ahead of the pitcher.
3-1 to count. Outfield spread out. Ball hit hard. Beltre controls it just like he should. Now that little underarm flip he's got. Very strong arm from down underneath.
It's a 4 drive of the game, and last time up, Paul Konerko came on with 2 on, driving it just inside the line. Paul's driven in 17 this year, and that's a 4 drive of the game. And that's the difference so far.
That's the only inning back in the 4th that we have had any base runners. Took that pitch nicely. 1-0 the count to Konerko.
I would think that would be it for Bartolo Colon, who reached back, got a little bit extra, and now probably will turn it over to Matt Thornton.
There you got Suzuki, Chavez, and Junior. Enough said.
3 left-handers, and Junior might not come up to bat.
Those are the schedule.
Mike Sweeney probably will.
And there's a little soft looper. Lopez makes the catch for out number 2.
Treat your group of 50 to 100 fans to a pregame patio party buffet and then enjoy the game from the warning track area. Call 312-674-1000 to book your warning track party today, or visit whitesox.com for more details.
Here's Brian Anderson, who's looking to go deep right here. Takes first pitch strike.
Did you ever think about that? 2 out, nobody on. Did you consciously try to hit a home run?
Sure.
You did?
Yeah.
Did it work?
Not very often. But I kept trying.
That, by the way, was the best curveball that Jakubowskis has thrown, and Mark Lowe is standing up, ready to go in case Jakubowskis has any problems.
Close pitch, didn't get it. Then the count 1-2. Brian has struck out, and he's going out deep to center. Now gets back even in that count. Two and 1 for us, 1-4-0 for them. Just underneath it. High pop up, and this is going to be another 1-2-3 inning for Chris Jakubowskis.
Matt Thornton comes on. He's 0-1, the ERA an even 3, on for the 9th time. He's walked 3, fanned 9, and he goes to the top with Ichiro, protecting a 1-run Sox lead.
Ichiro 0 for 3 in this game. Takes downstairs. Twice he has bounced out to Lilliebridge at second, and he also has struck out. Get over there. Get over there, Matt. Just in time. Thank you very much. Song in there somewhere.
There's no doubt you really have to hurry when Ichiro is going up the line. And Thornton did a good job. Paul Konerko, an underrated defender at first base, comes over, makes the play, and the only thing that you have to worry about after smothering that ball, will Thornton get there? He does. A good step ahead of time.
Here's Indy Chavez. Had a bunt single. Takes first pitch strike. Outfield about equidistant, slightly to the left.
And even though he's tried to bunt twice, you can't play all that deeply on the right side. He's liable to do it again against the left-hander.
Alexei. 2 down.
Host a private party on the U.S. Cellular Field fan deck in center field. Packages include 150 game tickets, access to the fan deck for the whole game, and an all-inclusive food and drink package for the first 90 minutes of the game. Reserve the fan deck today by calling 312-674-1000. Visit whitesox.com for more details.
Junior can't get it. Junior 1 for 3, a double. That was his first double of the season. He has a couple of homers. That coming back in the 4th inning. Just a bullet off the fence in right center.
I mean, Junior might catch up to Thornton, but I'm a little surprised that he's actually in this game to hit. You've got Sweeney, a pretty good hitter, coming off your bench. He was supposed to be the DH in the game that was rained out last night. And Junior's not going to hit a high fastball at 97 from Matt Thornton.
No. He's got it dialed up. Bullseye! He gone. 1, 2, 3 for Thornton, and the Sox lead at 2-1. Alexei Ramirez will lead it off here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Well, as Alexei was swinging his bat, it touched Rob Johnson, and then he called timeout, and it was acknowledged by Mark Carlson.
The Ramirez, Miller, and Lilliebridge, the schedule hitters. That's foul right back underneath Stone Pony.
I'd have had that if it got up here, you know.
Yeah, what hurts?
Yes. It does. This doesn't crush this beautiful turtle I have up here.
Fakes the butt, takes it up high, and the count 1-1.
I gave this turtle the entire game to get away, but
Still there?
Yeah.
Too bad, turtle.
Maybe because it's the chocolate variety.
Yes, he did. And the count 1-2. Jacoboscas, if you're just tuning in, has retired the side in order 6 out of the 7 innings. He's retired 21 out of the 24 hitters he has faced. Back in the 4th, Jerry Owens led it off, grounded to second. Then the walk, the only walk issued by Jacoboscas to Josh Fields, a single by Carlos Quentin, and the 2-out double by Konerko. Just ate him up right there inside.
Here's the HG. Well, it's a Comcast HD shot of the game, and there is the aforementioned turtle. And oh my God, it was just swiped. Someone has absconded with my turtle. It's back.
Corky Miller. Takes the strike. Corky has popped to second. He's popped up to right field. And a reminder, one lucky fan in attendance at tomorrow's game against these Mariners will win a bat signed by both Paul Konerko and Jermaine Dye, commemorating their recent milestone home runs. That's baseball history, only time that's ever been done. Fans that don't already have tickets can save up to $10 on tickets to tomorrow's game by entering 300 in the promotions and special offers box. To buy tickets now, visit whitesox.com or call 866-SOX-GAME.
That one went right in the Seattle dugout. And they're checking to make sure that everybody's okay. And as usual, they motion that Miller might want to keep it between the lines and out of the dugout.
Lee Tinsley's saying, get the head out.
Really, get a little quicker.
Take the donut off. That's foul back, and it'll be in the seats. Johnny Danks against Felix Hernandez in game 2. That game will start, well, not start, I should say. It's 5:45 now. That game will not start before 7:11.
That's going to be a terrific matchup in the second game. It's going to be a whole lot better if Bobby Jenks makes his 2-1 lead hold up.
And that game will be over Comcast Sportsnet Plus. Breaking ball. Nice play by Beltre. Got plenty of time. He knew it. 2 down.
From the Southwest RoboCam, we'll take a look at the replay. You don't have to be fast at third. You need great first step quickness. And Beltre, knowing that it was Corky Miller running, had time to look in his glove, pick out a seam, and throw a very solid throw over to Branyan.
So here's Lillibridge, 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. Another 1-2-3 inning for Chris Jacoboscas, and we will go to the ninth, leading 2-1.
Bobby Jenks comes in, and he's trying to nail down a 2-1 Sox victory. The Sox have just 2 hits, but they do have the lead. And Bobby comes in at 0-1, looking for save number 4. 6 innings of work, giving up a couple of walks, 5 strikeouts. He's got to go right through the middle of the order. Beltre, Branyan, and possibly Lopez, or maybe Wakamatsu uses his bench.
Beltre is 0 for 3, a line drive to left, a grounder to third, and he's gone out to center. He loves that first ball fastball. Outfield, they're spread out and they're deep. Out equidistant. Johnny Danks against Felix Hernandez in game 2. As that's a fair ball bobble. And now the leadoff man aboard. That'll be an error, the 3rd error committed by Josh this season.
Well, Fields is in the right spot. He's taken away the line, playing a no doubles defense, and the ball's hit right to him. Just boots it. Not much you can do with that, except that is the tying run. And now you're looking for 2, but you have a guy that consistently hits the ball in the air in Russell Branyan.
He's 0 for 2 with a walk, and he has scored the only run. So Bobby's got some work to do now. Bobby had a chance to get it.
I think there might have been an example of not knowing where your infielders were.
Exactly what it was.
Because if he catches that ball, he's going to have a force out at second. By letting it go and not knowing where the infielders were behind you, as he let it go, you see there, Ramirez has to go get it. Nobody to cover second base, so they do get the out at first. That could have been a relatively easy force out at second.
Here's Lopez, another first ball fastball hitter. Takes that one down and away. He's 0 for 3 this afternoon. A strikeout, a pop up to left, and reached base on an error by Lillibridge. Nice block by Corky Miller.
That was a tremendous stop, because there's a huge difference with that guy out at second base. And that ball was well out in front of Corky. I think it got a piece of his throwing hand. Got him in the bicep, but he kept it in front of him and made sure that Beltre couldn't advance to third.
2-0 the count to Lopez. 3-0.
Got Mike Sweeney in the on-deck circle, and he's going to come on to pinch hit for Rob Johnson.
Sweeney in the past has been a huge Sox killer.
Here are the text poll results. Who will win the American League West this season? And 55% of you believe that the Angels are going to right the ship. 15% for Oakland, Seattle 19%, and Texas 11%. Text your response to 977-999. Let us know what you think.
And here's the 35-year-old veteran Mike Sweeney. There are his numbers.
Well, the one thing he can't do is run very well, and you're looking for the ground ball, although during the course of his career, he's 3 for 8 against Bobby Jenks.
1 out, 2 on. And he takes ball 1. Sweeney last year for the A's hit .286, a couple of homers, and drove in 12 and 126 at bats.
His glory days were with the Kansas City Royals, where he was one of the more feared right-hand hitters around.
He just beat our brains out year after year after year. 1-0 pitch. Bobby down in the count, 2-0. Two and two for our Sox. 1-4-0 for their Mariners here in the top of the ninth inning in the first of a doubleheader.
Here's where you want to throw that fastball over the outer portion of the plate and hope that he rolls over and hits it to the left side.
There's a strike on the inner half.
Sweeney looks back at Mark Carlson and says, "You sure?" He said, "Yeah, I wouldn't have called it if I wasn't sure."
Sox looking for a pair. And there's the outside corner. 2-2 with Franklin Gutierrez on deck.
Bobby throws it right over the corner. And he took two looks back at Beltre. And when he saw Beltre go back to second base, that's when he made that pitch.
Beltre, all right, well, somebody better hang out.
Well, Beltre was looking like he wanted to steal third. But Bobby did a terrific job. After one look, he held it, then looked back again as Beltre took an extra step, but he forced him to go back towards second.
He's 2 for 2 in stolen bases. He does not go way outside, full count.
Bobby cut that one out away from Sweeney, and another nice job by Corky Miller corralling it. Take a look at Franklin Gutierrez in the on-deck circle. And with a ground ball, Bobby'd like to leave him there.
Payoff. He gone. 2 down.
Bobby wanted to get him out on a cutter. And he tried it to pitch before, didn't get it done, and went back there again. And Sweeney looking fastball. This ball just disappears. Nice stop again by Corky, making sure that ball doesn't get by. And now Wakamatsu once again will go to his bench. And this time it's Ballantine.
Vladimir Ballantine.
First pinch hitting job of the year for him, and now Don Cooper comes out, and he's going to remind Bobby Jenks of the scouting report on Ballantine. It's off to a pretty good start.
So 2 out, 2 on, 2-1 good guys here in the first of this doubleheader, top of the ninth inning. Ballantine has big pop. Has 1 homer this year. Last year for Seattle, 7 homers, 24 RBIs. And he, like most of these guys, first ball fastball hitter. Takes a turned over. Looked like a two-seamer sinker there.
He turned it over, and I think Bobby got the benefit of the call now. Well, Latimer has faced Jenks one time, and he homered. You get that one, you're going to be in pretty good shape.
1-1 to count.
I think on that one, Bobby figured, look, if I got the first one, I'll go in there again, but didn't get the benefit of that call.
Big pitch right here. The 1-1. Nice stop by Corky. Ballantine last year did a total of 25 homers, 18 with Tacoma, and 7, as I mentioned, with Seattle. Beltre at second. Lopez at first. 2 out and the 2-1 pitch. There he goes. So 2 balls, 2 strikes.
If Bobby's going to cut another one in the dirt, then Corky has got to make sure he stops everything. Because that time with heads-up play by Beltre, they didn't pay attention to him, so you might as well take 90 feet.
Now time is called by Corky. Tying run 90 feet away. And the 2-2 pitch. That's deep into center field. Anderson is back, and this ball game is over. Bobby Jenks pitches out of it. The era leading off the inning, and the Sox behind Bartolo Colon, who was just brilliant today, win it 2-1, and we'll be back.